Before the United States had its own government, it was nothing more than a collection of 13 British colonies stretched along the eastern coast of North America. Each colony had its own local leaders, but ultimate power rested in the hands of the King of England. Laws were passed thousands of miles away in London, and colonists had almost no voice in the decisions that affected their daily lives. Heavy taxes were imposed, like the famous Stamp Act and Tea Tax, without giving the people any representation in the British Parliament. This lack of freedom and constant interference created deep frustration, planting the seeds of rebellion in the hearts of the colonists. By 1775, that frustration had exploded into open conflict. The colonies, united in their demand for liberty, took up arms against the mighty British Empire in what became known as the American Revolutionary War. Farmers, blacksmiths, and ordinary citizens joined together to fight alongside trained soldiers. It was a long and difficult struggle that lasted 8 years, from 1775 to 1783. Finally, with the signing of the Treaty of Paris, Britain recognized the independence of the United States. Bells rang, celebrations filled the streets, and a new nation was born. But as the cheers faded, one big question remained. Now that we are free, how will we govern ourselves? The three branches of government. When the U.S. Constitution was written, its creators wanted a fair system where no single person or group could hold all the power. So, they designed a government with three branches, each with its own unique powers and responsibilities. The legislative branch, made up of Congress, which includes the Senate and the House of Representatives, is responsible for creating and passing laws. The executive branch, led by the president, enforces those laws, manages the military, and represents the country in foreign affairs. The judicial branch, led by the Supreme Court and other federal courts, interprets the laws and ensures they follow the rules of the Constitution. By dividing power in this way, the government stays balanced and avoids the danger of one branch becoming too powerful. Checks and balances. But simply dividing power wasn't enough. The framers of the Constitution knew that power could still be abused. That's why they built a safeguard called checks and balances. In this system, each branch has the ability to limit or check the powers of the other branches. For example, Congress can pass a law, but the president can veto it if they believe it's not in the nation's best interest. The idea that power is shared between the national government and the state governments. The federal government handles nationwide responsibilities such as defense, printing money, and managing relations with other countries. Meanwhile, individual states make decisions about local matters like running schools, building roads, and enforcing state laws. This balance. Introduction to the legislative branch. The legislative branch is the lawmaking part of the U.S. government. It is made up of Congress, which has two parts, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Together, they make the rules and laws that shape life in America. The House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has 435 members, each representing a district in their state. States with bigger populations have more representatives. For example, California has 52, while states like Wyoming have just one. Members serve 2-year terms, and their main job is to represent the people's interests and create laws that address local and national issues. The Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state, no matter how big or small the state is. Senators serve 6-year terms, and every 2 years, about 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election. This system ensures continuity and stability in lawmaking. Powers of Congress. Congress has the power to make laws, approve budgets, declare war, approve treaties, and confirm presidential appointments like judges and cabinet members. They also have the power to investigate issues that affect the country. How a bill becomes a law. The process begins when a bill is introduced in either the House or the Senate. It is then discussed in committees, debated, and voted on. If both the House and Senate pass the bill, it goes to the president. If the president signs it, it becomes law. If the president vetoes it, Congress... Did you know the first U.S. Congress met in 1789? The longest-serving member of Congress, John Dingell, served for 59 years. And in 1 year, Congress can pass anywhere between 300 to 600 laws. The executive branch of the United States government is responsible for carrying out and enforcing the laws that Congress makes. It is led by the president, who is not only the head of state, but also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Along with the president, there is the vice president and a group of advisors called the cabinet. Together, they make sure that the laws are put into action and that the government runs smoothly. The president is elected every 4 years by the people through the Electoral College system. He or she has the power to sign bills into law, veto laws passed by Congress, make treaties with other nations, and appoint important officials, such as judges and ambassadors. The president also represents the United States on the world stage and protects the country as the leader of the military. The vice president supports the president and also serves as the leader of the Senate, casting a vote if there is a tie. The cabinet includes the heads of 15 executive departments, such as defense, education, and health. These departments manage everything from schools and hospitals to the army and foreign relations. Together, they advise the president and help in decision-making. Did you know the president can only serve for 2 terms or 8 years total? The youngest president ever elected was John F. Kennedy at age 43. The president also travels in a special airplane called Air Force One and lives in the White House, which has 132 rooms.